Good afternoon, everybody. It's Maureen here for another quick chat on a Friday afternoon. So, how's life showing up for all of you out there in lockdown land or cocooning land, as I've heard it called? It's not too bad here in Spain. It's a bit overcast today. It was tipping it down earlier, so the olives and the almonds will be really, really happy. Um, we've had a bit of an issue with a generator going well, dying actually, not going anywhere, just ceasing to be. But that's fine. We're in the process of replacing it, and the new one will turn up on Tuesday. So, in the interim, we're doing some fixing to come up with some kind of solution, some kind of um, interim process to kind of make sure that we get power and lighting and all of those types of things. I'm just going to move my camera forward a bit because the light in the ceiling looks like I've got some kind of moon in the background. So let's park that, and shall we? So what do we want to talk about today? So I put together a list of topics that I want to talk about for each week going through the year. And sometimes they really fit and sometimes they don't. But today, the topic that was on my list is resilience. And resilience means many, many things to many people. And I was looking to see if I had any textbooks or reference books that would give me an insight or a pointing for you for today. And nothing seemed to gel. So I went on my friend Google, and Google came up with a couple of options about what resilience means in a dictionary type format. Excuse me. So the first one is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness. The often remarkable resilience of so many British institutions. They kind of stiff up a lip. We can do this. And then the second one is the more interesting one for me. The ability of a substance or object, or insert human being, to spring back into any shape, elasticity, etc. And so the title of today's web kind of Facebook Live is called Bounce Back Ability. And this is a term that my good friend Pete Cohen came up with, and I think it fits this scenario quite succinctly. So what does it mean to you, for you, and all of those things? But what does it actually mean? For me, when I was going through cancer, it meant that somewhere deep inside, somewhere in this body of mine, this mind of mine, moreover, I knew I was going to be okay. No matter what, I was going to be okay. And that might sound a little strange given cancer and the unknowns that come with that. But you couldn't shake that thought from me. I was going to be okay. But thinking about where we're at today. So today, my main generator, which provides power, heating, lighting, the works, even power for the Wi-Fi, power for the TV, and all of those things in my world that I rely on quite a lot, ceased to be the other night. Just stopped in a puff of black smoke and all sorts of things. And I could have taken it as a sign, we've made the wrong decision, we need to get out of here, we need to get back to the UK or go somewhere else. But actually, it was just a recognition that it's done its service, and we need to get a new one. So going into a whole mash of kind of crazy thinking about what the demise of the generator meant for us wasn't going to help. Really wasn't going to help. I had to kind of calm down other individuals, should I say, in and around my environment, but everything's okay. A new one's being ordered, it's turning up on Tuesday. It's not the end of the world. But it could have felt like it. It really could have felt like it with the ramifications of the demise of the generator. Hi, Lucy, good to see you. But thinking about resilience in and of itself, and this quote that I've printed off from my friend Google, the ability of a substance or object, and I like to insert, and human being, to bounce back into shape. So it's not that I never get bent out of shape and I don't get caught out by my thinking around anything. That's just part of being human. Part of being human. But knowing that each and every one of us has this ability to bounce back is what makes the difference. So when I'm in a teaching environment, I get out one of these. You may recognize one of these, and of course it had to be purple. I have to buy purple ones. And it's really just a rubber band thing that people use for exercise. I have been using it more recently myself. Who knew? But this piece of plastic or elastic doesn't need to be told it's going to be okay no matter what. If it gets stretched really long and hard, it has an innate capacity to go back to its original size and shape, as do we. So if you ever feel like you're being stretched, like that your capacity for coping with what's happening in the world is being tested, really, really tested, as some people are feeling right now in this lockdown, cocooning type of environment, this whole you're being told where and when you can go, how you can go out and do whatever you're doing. People are being tested because they're overthinking, and we have a certain amount of awareness about what's going on for us, and sometimes we lose sight of it, almost like putting on a pair of dark glasses in a dark room. You can't see what's going on in front of you. But what happens when you take the glasses off? What happens when you take the shades off? You get a bit of clarity. You get a bit of a clearer insight, a bit more direction and forward motion, I think. So we all have an innate capacity to recover from whatever situation or circumstance we find ourselves in. It's believing or thinking that we can't that is the stumbling block, that is the hurdle that most of us put up in front of ourselves from time to time, or more regularly. It depends on the individual. So the other night could have gone into complete free fall because the generator had crashed and burned on us, and it has quite a lot of implications. But there's no point. Yes, it's a bit more of a challenge to fix at the minute, but it's not the end of the world. We just have to be mindful about what our limitations and our restrictions are right at the minute. The new generator's turning up on Tuesday, so we'll be fine. It's blowing a fairly major chunk into the budget. Can't help that. So my swimming pool will have to wait. Oh, shock, horror, first world problem, eh? But on the other hand, what's more important? And this is about what's more important right now. What's more important is that I have heating, lighting, power, that I can talk to you because I have power in the socket and all of those things, that my Wi-Fi is working, and I can keep my birds warm at night because they only have a certain temperature. Though that's far more important right at the minute than having a nice looking swimming pool outside the window. I get it, it will appear, but I may have to wait a few months for it. If you find that you're getting caught out, that you're stumbling over what's happening in the world right now. Whether you think that your life has been turned upside down, inside out, and back to front because of something we can't even see. I want you to bring yourself back to center. Back to what is happening right here and right now. I put out a post yesterday, I think it was, that if you have food in your cupboards, you have a roof over your head, you have access to water, and you have money in the bank, you are in the top 8% of the richest people in the world. I want to repeat that. You're in the top 8% of people in the world as far as richness and wealth is concerned. And when you put that into perspective with what's going on with COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, it kind of might just bring you back to center. It might just bring you back to that piece of you that knows that actually you're okay. You're absolutely okay. Even on the days when you think that life has thrown you a bit of a curveball and you can't cope, you're actually okay. When you stop, when you recognize what's going on outside of you has got no way of impacting what's going on inside of you, then you're onto something. Then you're onto the winner, and you've got the golden key. Does that make sense? I hope so. In some shape or form, I've whittled on for about 10 or 11 minutes now, but I hope that in some way or other, whatever I've said today may help you with what's going on in the world right now, what may happen in your life in the future. Bring yourself back to center. What's happening in the present, right here, right now. And you're okay. So I wish you all a fabulous weekend. I hope that you're able to do something. You won't be able to do everything that you intended to do. Lucy will no doubt be creating some fabulous, colourful creations. And I hope that David, you're able to play with the boys and everything's okay in the world. For now, I'm going to head off and figure out what else I need to do in order to make sure that my heating and power and lighting stays functional over the weekend. I love you, I'll leave you, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.